Okay, so imagine this. You're slammed. It's Sunday brunch, and, oh, you're out of avocados.
Oh, no.
Total nightmare, right? Or maybe your walk-in is just overflowing with wilting lettuce. It's like watching your profits turn into compost.
Yeah, inventory management can be a real struggle for small restaurants.
It can feel like a constant battle, but it doesn't have to be. We're diving deep today into how to make inventory management your secret weapon.
I love that secret weapon.
And we've got a fantastic guide for this journey, a great article from Restaurant Success Blog, all about inventory best practices specifically for small restaurants.
Perfect, because, small restaurants often operate on those razor-thin margins.
Yeah, so every decision really counts.
Absolutely. That's why smart inventory management is so crucial.
So let's get right into it. What are some of the biggest inventory mistakes restaurants make that can really eat into those profits?
Well, one of the most common pitfalls is over-ordering. You think you're getting a great deal on a huge bulk order of spinach.
Right. Bulk buying, gotta save money.
But then what happens? Half of it ends up wilting in your fridge.
Oh, that's painful to even picture.
It is. It's wasted money and wasted food.
Plus all the extra storage costs for those giant containers of everything.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the flip side, under-ordering.
Yeah.
You run out of a key ingredient right in the middle of the dinner rush.
Uh-oh. What do you do?
You're scrambling to find last-minute replacements, which usually cost way more.
Mm-hmm.
Or even worse, you have to tell customers, sorry, we're all out.
Ouch, talk about a double whammy, disappointed customers, and a hit to your reputation.
Exactly. So finding that balance, that's the key. And one of the simplest but most effective ways to do that is FIFO.
FIFO.
First out, think about it like this. You're at home, you open the fridge to grab some milk, you instinctively reach for the carton that's closest to expiring, right?
Oh, totally. We've all been there trying to use stuff up before it goes bad.
That's FIFO in action. And it's just as important in a restaurant. Using your older ingredients first, it helps minimize waste and, also ensures that your dishes are always at peak freshness.
Smart. Okay, so we've established that having a system is crucial. But how do restaurants actually keep track of all this stuff? I mean, are we talking spreadsheets, scanners, carrier pigeons?
Maybe not carrier pigeons, but you'd be surprised at the range of options. For really tiny places, a well-organized spreadsheet can work.
Yeah, if you've got like 5 ingredients total.
Right. But as you grow and your menu expands, it becomes much less reliable.
Yeah, I can see how things could get messy really quickly, especially during a busy service.
Exactly. That's where technology comes in to save the day.
Oh, thank goodness.
We're talking about those software programs that are specifically designed for restaurant inventory management.
Okay, so you mentioned Restaurant Success Blog. Recommends a few. What are they?
Well, they mentioned MarketMan, Upserve, and Toast.
Got it. Those are some big names. So what should restaurants be looking for when they're choosing one of these systems?
One of the most important features is real-time tracking. So you can see exactly how much of each ingredient you have at any moment, right from your phone or computer.
No more those late-night grocery runs because you suddenly realized you're out of lemons.
Exactly. And along with real-time tracking, look for systems that offer low stock alerts. They're like your little digital guardian angels, letting you know when something's running low so you can reorder before it becomes a crisis.
I love that. Speaking of organization, Restaurant Success Blog also mentions the importance of a well-organized stockroom. I'm picturing like supermarket levels of efficiency here.
That's the goal.
Everything labeled, categorized, easy to find.
Exactly. Having a designated space for each type of ingredient, clear labels, and a system for rotation. Remember FIFO?
FIFO, always.
It makes a huge difference, not only in reducing waste, but also just saving time.
So it's about setting your team up for success.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got our systems in place, our stockroom is looking sharp. What's the next level of inventory mastery?
That's where we get into this concept of inventory turnover.
Okay, that sounds a little bit intimidating.
It might sound technical, but it's actually pretty simple and incredibly valuable.
All right, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me. What is inventory turnover and why should I care?
It basically tells you how quickly you're selling and replacing your inventory. Imagine you've got a small restaurant, right?
Very small.
Every square inch is valuable real estate. You want your inventory to be flowing through that space efficiently.
Makes sense. So how do we figure out this magic number?
Restaurant Success Blog gives a simple formula. Cost of goods sold divided by your average inventory. Let's say you sell $1,000 worth of ingredients in a week, and your average inventory value is $250. That gives you an inventory turnover ratio of 4.
Okay, I'm following so far, but what does that 4 actually mean?
It means you're selling and replacing your entire inventory about 4 times per week. That's a pretty solid number.
Right.
The ideal turnover ratio for most restaurants is somewhere between 4 and 8.
Okay, so less than 4, you're probably sitting on too much inventory. More than 8, you're risking those stockouts we talked about.
You got it. So hitting that sweet spot is about finding the right balance between what you're ordering, how much you're storing, and what's on your menu.
Okay, so we've got our systems in place. We're tracking our turnover. What's the next step in building our inventory management arsenal?
That's when we get into forecasting.
Forecasting, predicting the future, sounds a little bit like a superpower.
It kind of is. It's the ability to predict the future of your fridge.
Now that's a superpower I could really use.
Right. No more running out of burger buns or drowning in excess mayo.
Exactly. But how do we do it?
It's all about data. By analyzing your past sales data, you can start to see patterns and trends.
So like noticing that you sell way more chicken wings on game days, or that your vegan burger is a surprise bestseller on Mondays.
Exactly. You can also factor in local events, holidays, even weather patterns. All those things can influence what people are ordering.
And that helps us make much smarter decisions about what to stock. Okay, so we're analyzing data. We're predicting demand. It's all starting to click. But what about those pesky perishables? The ingredients that have a mind of their own when it comes to shelf life.
Ah, yes. The perishable predicament.
Exactly.
Well, that's where we circle back to our good friend, FIFO.
FIFO always comes back.
Making sure that those older ingredients are being used first is crucial. And Restaurant Success Blog has a great tip.
What's that?
Label everything.
Really?
Label everything with the delivery date or the expiration date. It might seem obvious, but
It makes a huge difference.
it does. It takes the guesswork out of it. And along with FIFO, proper storage is key for extending the shelf life of those perishables. We're talking temperature control, keeping different food types separate.
To prevent cross-contamination.
Exactly. And using airtight containers to really lock in that freshness.
So it's not just about ordering the right amount. It's also about making sure those ingredients stay fresh and delicious once they're in your kitchen.
Absolutely. It's a whole holistic approach to inventory management where every step from ordering to storage to usage plays a vital role.
This is amazing. We've covered so much already, from basic systems to high-tech software, from inventory turnover to the art of predicting demand. But there's still so much more to explore. What else is in store for our listeners in this inventory deep dive?
Oh, there's plenty more to come.
Yeah.
In the next part, we're going to delve even deeper into supplier relationships. We're going to talk about that dreaded shrinkage problem, and we'll explore how technology can truly be a game changer for streamlining your entire inventory operation.
I can't wait. This deep dive is just getting started.
Welcome back to our deep dive into inventory management for small restaurants.
All right, so last time we talked about systems and tracking and forecasting, but I'm really curious about supplier relationships. I feel like that's got to be a big piece of the puzzle.
Oh, absolutely. Those relationships are key. Think of your suppliers as your partners in culinary crime.
I love that, partners in culinary crime.
They're the ones providing you with all the raw materials you need to create those amazing dishes that keep your customers coming back.
Makes sense. So how do we go from just like placing orders to really building those strong strategic partnerships?
Well, communication is key. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone, talk to your suppliers face-to-face, let them know what you need, what your challenges are, what your vision is for your restaurant.
So it's really about building a relationship, not just placing an order.
Exactly. And once you have that foundation of trust, then you can start to explore ways to work together more efficiently. Maybe it's negotiating a volume discount on a key ingredient, or setting up a system for automatic reordering based on your inventory levels.
Oh, automatic reordering. That sounds like a dream. Come to think of it, Restaurant Success Blog mentioned that.
It is a dream.
Yeah.
No more of those last-minute panic orders because you realize you're running low on olive oil.
Exactly. And that's just one example of how technology can really streamline those supplier relationships.
It really can. A lot of inventory management software programs now allow you to integrate directly with your suppliers, making ordering and tracking a breeze.
So it's like having a digital assistant handling all the back-end stuff so you can focus on what you do best, cooking and running your restaurant.
Exactly. And speaking of things that could really steal your time and energy, let's talk about shrinkage.
Shrinkage. It's like the invisible villain of the restaurant world.
It is. It can really eat into your profits.
Yeah.
And it can happen in so many different ways. Theft, spoilage, even those little clerical errors that can add up over time.
So how do we fight back? What are our weapons against this shrinkage monster?
Well, the first weapon is awareness. Just being aware of the different ways that shrinkage can happen, that's the first step in preventing it.
Knowledge is power, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So pay attention to those red flags. Like if your inventory counts don't match up with what your POS system is telling you.
That's a good catch.
Yeah. If you're selling a lot of a particular dish, but your inventory for those ingredients isn't reflecting that, something's not right.
Time to investigate.
Exactly. And sometimes the clues are more subtle. Pay attention to your staff. Are there any changes in behavior that seem out of the ordinary?
So it's about being observant and trusting your gut.
Absolutely. And along with awareness, you need to have really solid procedures in place. Things like strict receiving protocols, regular inventory audits. Having clear guidelines for how to handle and store ingredients can make a big difference.
So it's about creating a culture of accountability and attention to detail.
You got it. And technology can be a huge help here too. Security cameras can deter theft, and inventory management software can help you track usage patterns and identify those potential areas of loss.
It's like building a fortress around your inventory.
Exactly.
But let's say the worst has happened and you've discovered a shrinkage problem. What do you do?
First of all, don't panic. Shrinkage is a common problem, and there are solutions. Start by investigating thoroughly. What's the source of the problem? Is it theft? Is it spoilage? Is it errors? Or is it a combination of factors?
Right. So diagnose the problem before you try to prescribe a cure.
Exactly. And just like with anything else, prevention is the best medicine. By putting those solid procedures in place and using technology to your advantage, you can really minimize the risk of shrinkage happening in the first place.
Okay, this is all great stuff. But what about those inventory reports? They can be a little intimidating, all those numbers and charts.
They can be. But think of them as your restaurant's financial story, a tale of costs and profits and the flow of ingredients.
Okay, that's a much better way to think about it. So how do we go from being intimidated by those reports to actually using them to make smart decisions?
Start by focusing on those key metrics. Things like your cost of goods, sold inventory turnover ratio, which we talked about earlier, your waste percentage, and your stock out rate.
So it's about filtering out the noise and finding those key signals.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to play around with different ways of visualizing the data. Charts, graph, even simple color coding can make it easier to see patterns and trends.
Okay, so I'm feeling a little less intimidated and a little more empowered. But what about those more advanced metrics? I hear people talking about things like GMROI, gross margin return on inventory.
Oh yeah, GMROI, that's a good one. It tells you how much profit you're making for every dollar you invest in inventory.
So it's a measure of efficiency.
It is.
Yeah.
How well you're turning those ingredients into cold, hard cash. And tracking GMROI over time can help you spot areas where you can improve your profitability. Maybe it's negotiating better prices with your suppliers, or maybe it's tweaking your menu to feature dishes with higher profit margins.
This is fascinating. It's like inventory management is this big puzzle and we're putting all the pieces together. But what about those times when things don't go according to plan? Like what happens if a supplier suddenly raises their prices or there's a major supply chain disruption?
That's where agility comes in. You need to be able to adjust your strategy on the fly. Maybe you explore alternative suppliers, or you temporarily modify your menu to feature dishes that use readily available ingredients.
So have a plan B and maybe a plan C.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get creative. Maybe you partner with a local farm to source fresh produce. Or you find new ways to reduce waste in your kitchen.
So thinking outside the box.
Exactly. And remember, your staff can be a great source of ideas. They're the ones who are on the front lines dealing with inventory every day.
That's a good point. They might see things that you wouldn't and have great ideas for how to improve things.
Absolutely. Creating that open communication with your team is so important for successful inventory management.
This has been incredible. We've covered so much, from building relationships with suppliers, to tackling shrinkage, to even deciphering those sometimes intimidating inventory reports. But what else is coming up in the final part of our inventory deep dive?
Well, we're going to get into the exciting world of POS integration. We'll talk about advanced forecasting techniques. And we'll even look at some real-world examples of how restaurants are using innovative inventory management strategies to thrive.
Wow, I can't wait to hear it. This is going to be good. All right, inventory adventurers, welcome back. We've journeyed through the wilds of systems and forecasting and supplier relationships. We've even battled the dreaded shrinkage monster.
We have. It's been quite an adventure.
It has, but now we're ready for the final level where technology truly becomes our ultimate sidekick.
I like that ultimate sidekick.
And this time our sidekick's name is POS integration.
Yes, the magic of connecting your point-of-sale system with your inventory management software.
Okay, paint me a picture. What does this magical integration actually look like?
Imagine every time a dish is ordered, those ingredients are automatically deducted from your inventory in real time.
Wait, hold on. So no more manually updating spreadsheets or doing those end-of-day inventory counts?
Nope, it's all done for you automatically.
That sounds amazing, but how does it actually work? Is it complicated to set up?
Not at all. Many modern POS systems come with inventory management modules already built in, or you could choose a third-party software that integrates seamlessly.
So it's all about finding the right fit for your specific needs.
Exactly. And once you have that integration in place, oh, the benefits are huge.
Like what?
Well, first and foremost, accuracy. Every sale, every ingredient used, it's all tracked automatically, which minimizes those pesky human errors.
Which we all know happen.
They do. And that means your inventory data is always up to date. So you have this crystal clear picture of your stock levels at any moment.
I can see how that would be such a relief for restaurant owners. No more second guessing, no more of those panic attacks when you realize you're out of something crucial.
Right. And speaking of crucial ingredients, this kind of integration can be a real lifesaver when it comes to preventing stockouts.
Ah, yes, stockouts are our old nemesis.
Exactly. Remember those low stock alerts we talked about? Well, with POS integration, those alerts become even more powerful
How so?
because they're triggered by actual sales data, not just estimated usage.
So you're getting real-time feedback on what's actually flying out of the kitchen.
Exactly. Which means you can fine-tune your orders and make sure you never run out of that signature dish that everyone loves.
Okay, so we've got the accuracy, we've got the stockout prevention. Are there any other hidden superpowers that come with POS integration?
Oh, there are tons. Think about all that data you're collecting with every transaction. It's not just what's selling, but when it's selling, how often, and even in what combinations.
So it's like you're gathering intel on customer behavior.
Exactly. You can use this data for menu planning, pricing strategies, marketing campaigns, you name it.
Give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you notice that a particular appetizer is almost always ordered with a certain main course.
Interesting.
You can create a combo meal or run a special promotion around that pairing.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Using data to create those irresistible offers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this level of insight goes beyond just individual dishes. You can start to see those big picture trends, how seasonality impacts your sales, how local events influence ordering patterns.
Even how weather can affect what people want to eat.
Exactly. It's all connected.
We've officially entered the realm of restaurant sorcery.
It might feel like magic, but it's really about harnessing the power of data to make smarter decisions. And the more data you have, the more accurate your predictions become.
Those inventory reports are starting to look less like intimidating spreadsheets and more like strategic roadmaps.
That's exactly what they should be. Not just a record of what you have, but a guide for the future.
This has been an incredible journey. We've explored everything from the basics of FIFO to the power of POS integration. But before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the human element.
Ah, yes. Technology is an amazing tool, but it's only as good as the people using it.
Exactly. So any final words of wisdom on how to create that culture of inventory excellence within a restaurant team?
It starts with education and empowerment. Make sure your staff understands why inventory management matters, how it impacts the restaurant's profitability, but also the quality of the food and the customer experience.
So connecting those seemingly mundane tasks to the bigger picture?
Exactly. Give them the training, the tools, and the encouragement to share their ideas.
It's about building a team where everyone feels invested in the process.
Absolutely. And when your team is engaged and empowered, inventory management becomes less of a chore and more of a shared mission.
I love that. A shared mission to deliver an exceptional dining experience.
Exactly.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of inventory management for small restaurants. We've learned so much about systems and forecasting and supplier relationships, and even battled the shrinkage monster. But most importantly, we've seen how technology can be a powerful ally in this journey.
It really can.
So to all our listeners out there, remember, inventory management doesn't have to be a burden. Embrace the systems, master the data, empower your team, and turn inventory into your secret weapon for success.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Cheers to efficient and profitable restaurants.